Bonjour, Kinnemagin in Ireland and Dishnikas, and welcome to this at-home version of our Week at a Glance videos featuring week 24. Let me begin by hoping that all of you are in good health as we are on the second of two closure days due to high incidence of illness in the school building. So my best wishes if you are still healthy that you stay that way, and if you're not, that you feel better soon. We'll begin in our Google Classroom. Here's some new things posted. The first ever simply virtual version of our newsletter. It's always been a hybrid between paper and digital, at least since COVID era. Before then, it was simply just paper, because we are going the way of the regular newspaper this week. We have some links in here, and these links will be included in your email that you get the link to this video in, where you can access district enrollment forms for Mount Pleasant and Renaissance, and I'm going to look for those as well for Shepherd. So they may even be in there by the time I send this email today. And then you see some older docs, including our breakfast and lunch menus. And you'll have some new ones coming by next week's edition. Let's begin with our newsletter here. And as I mentioned, the illness closure. I do, want to remind you that if your student is sick, please keep them home until they've been free of fever, vomiting, or diarrhea for 24 hours. That's when it's considered much less likely that they will transmit that illness to their neighbor in the classroom. Also want to do a save the date. We are 2 weeks out now from our annual round dance, this time for the first time ever being held at Weemagiquad. I'll have some more information. I know that a flyer just went out via the tribe's social media. Probably have some of that information in next week's edition. These 2 days may be a very good time for students to complete their literacy project. And it's been in the newsletter here. Consider your favorite food or meal, prepare it at home. Doesn't have to be super complicated. We're not looking to be a gourmet chef. The idea of this lesson was a couple things. One is to be able to follow and also create how-to instructions, so that if it looks really good, I could make it at home and enjoy it, me being their audience here. And second, being able to present on it. Now, some students in the past have presented via recording it and then uploading it to YouTube. That's absolutely acceptable. Recording it and emailing it to mireland@sagchipschool.net, that works as well. Or your student could take some pictures and create a PowerPoint or Google slide that just shows what they did. It's not a requirement that it be a live video, although those ones tend to be pretty fun. Still get some chuckles out of the initial batch in 2020. But if you have any questions, do reach out at mireland@sagchip.org or mireland@sagchipschool.net. Homework, for some of us, have been doing a great job. For others, it has become a little bit of a concern. Things they don't finish in class are expected to be finished at home. Now, that's not a long list of things. Math homework, the occasional classwork from one of our other disciplines. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I send home a specific assignment. Students all have a homework folder. Please do ask them about it. Although there was no homework assignment for Thursday this week because we weren't there, we did have one on Tuesday, and they may have had some math papers. They should be taking it home. Next year, it's going to get much, much more difficult for them. They're going to have several different teachers, and they're going to be responsible for this. I know if you're in Mount Pleasant, there is at least a week at a glance like I do on their website, so you can check up a little bit. But ultimately students are going to need to develop that responsibility piece. You may be hearing from me separately on some of my individual concerns, but not in the course of this video. Just a reminder to students to dress for the weather. If my students had their way, they would wear shorts and a t-shirt all day, every day, no matter the temperature. Make sure they don't do that. It's just a little bit too cold yet. What are we learning? In math, we're looking at a relationship between fractions and decimals. They are related. I still strongly encourage families to get flashcards. Students with the inability to quickly access those multiplication facts are going to struggle, and they're going to struggle even more so next year. The problems get more in depth as they get further in their education, and needing to be able to quickly say 9 times 7 is 63 is very useful. I know that there's always been a discussion of, well, we don't want you just to memorize numbers, and that's absolutely correct. But being able to quickly access them and understand what it means, that's what we need. Language arts, we're looking at the movement of people, goods, and ideas through history. And we're using mystery writing to develop our narratives right now, and Words Their Way, which is accessible at home, to practice their spelling skills. In social studies, we're still looking at the life in the colonies. Before too long, we will start getting to the American Revolution. And you can see our language corner. Where we're talking about the southern colonies. That's where that comes from. Middle colonies, New England. We're just going to call that the North. We don't have a word for New England. We have she tries to get free, and he or she starts writing. So you can see the link also to the Ojibwe People's Dictionary. That's where I get these spellings. You may note that some spellings could be slightly different on the side of Lake Michigan. Looking at our week at a glance, and you can see that what we're going to be covering this week. I'm tentatively have Sam Anglin scheduled on Thursday. That could be subject to change. Mr. Sprague and I are nailing that down, but that's where I tentatively put it. These schedules are always subject to change. Last week, there was a lot of said change due to the illnesses, closures, and sometimes a lesson will take longer or go shorter, and we have to adjust. Some other things to talk about today. Let's go back here. In our Google Classroom, there's a link to Learn from Home, the classroom Padlet. So if your student is starting to drive you crazy on day 2 of 4 days at home, you could have them access this. Don't actually have to go through the Google Classroom if you're stopping and looking at this, and maybe I'll try to share this in the email today. But these are all items that they can use. They're only updated a couple times a year, so if there's a link that doesn't work anymore, please let me know. But we have all of this material here. They can access this even if they're not a student for some of the things. But code.org, typing.com, a lot of them, those things are accessed using their sagchipschool.net email accounts. I know it's getting close to the transition to middle school. If you are looking at Renaissance, let's go to this link here. They have a new student inquiry, and I'll have a link to this in this email, and it'll start being posted in the newsletter in upcoming episodes here. But fill this out with some information and submit it. That's the first step if you're choosing Renaissance. Now, I will say that if you're considering Renaissance, but you're not sure, I'd go ahead and fill that out. It's easier to decide, no, I'm not going there, than it is to try to maneuver through the waiting list if you change your mind later. Also, we have a link here to Mount Pleasant. And I kind of put a couple links so you could see it. You see final forms enrollment. And I just did a quick Google search for Mount Pleasant Middle School. Click on that. You're going to get to this document here from Mount Pleasant Public Schools. And this is the one I will actually send the email for. Actually, I might just send that one. Might be even easier for you at home. But you click there and that'll bring up this. If it's a new account, some of you have older siblings or students here, and you might not need that. But this will give you an opportunity to start putting in some of the documents that are needed in order to have your student signed up appropriately for Mount Pleasant. We'll be talking about this quite frequently over the next month and a half as we barrel towards getting them ready for middle school, but also trying to ease that transition stress. As always, if you have any questions, please do reach out to me at mireland@sagchip.org or mireland@sagchipschool.net. With these couple days off, we've been taking some time to deep clean in the classroom and prepare for hopefully a very healthy return on Monday. Hope everyone has a Minogijigad, Minwa, Mamapi.